We'll just get started as everyone's joining in today. Just wanted to say good morning and welcome to Las Vegas Territory web series, phasing through 2020. We've created a 30-minute Q&A with some of our top influential members of our industry to see how they're weathering COVID-19 and what steps they have made to adapt. Also in this webinar series, we're going to give a quick segment on government affairs with a member from Vegas Chamber and some Nevada healthcare updates as well. This will be at the beginning of each month and is free to our members and members alike in our industry. And our first guest needs no introduction, but it would not do him justice to not read all the awards and accolades he has received over the years and presently. So Donald Contursi is the founder and the president of Lip Smacking Foodie Tours, the premier culinary walking tour in Las Vegas. Since its debut, Lip Smacking Foodie Tours has received many awards, including Best Food Beverage Tour Operations by the World Food Travel Association, Best Food Tour, Best Date Night, Best Fine Dining, and Best Brunch by the Las Vegas Review Journal, Best Tour by In Vegas Magazine, Best New Tour by Thrillist, and as well as rankings of #1 on both TripAdvisor and Yelp. For all you know, Donald is a Chicago native. He moved to Vegas to earn a bachelor's degree in business management from UNLV. He subsequently spent a decade working in Las Vegas's highly demanding hospitality industry at the finest restaurants on the Las Vegas Strip. He combined his entrepreneurial acumen along with his wealth of culinary knowledge and vast industry connections to create the pioneering Lip Smacking Foodie Tours. It quickly grew into one of the top culinary experiences in our city. He decided to expand on the concept with Licking Foodie Tours, which was established in 2019 to provide casual experiences and private self-guided tours that promote social distancing. Super awesome. Thank you, Donald, for being our first guest to Las Vegas Territory web series phasing through 2020. How's it going?
Good. Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor. Nice to see everybody.
Yeah, great to have you. So let's just grab to the questions since we're doing a 30-minute Q&A. Our first question was, what changes and adaptations have you made in 2020 to your business to cope with the epidemic COVID-19?
So as with everyone, this came on as a huge surprise and quickly. Where we were before this, we were focusing a lot on groups. Each month, we were launching a new tour outside of Las Vegas in different cities for some of our repeat groups that wanted to host events outside of Las Vegas. So that was kind of where we were headed. Obviously, that all came to a halt. And so we started off with more or less smaller parties. And so now we're back to focusing on individuals and transient business. And so, being in quarantine, thinking how are we going to, put on these experiences when people necessarily don't want to sit next to and dine with people they may not know. So, there's self-guided walking tours all over the world. Maybe you download an app or you Google something, but I've never seen a self-guided food tour. And because we've developed the partnerships and the relationships over these past few years, I'm confident that our partners know how to execute without us having to be there, and also give us the freedom to expand hosting more tours without having to have a tour guide there, and opening up the flexibility of allowing people to book any time of day rather than having to fit in with a certain time frame that the tours go out. So that added flexibility has really been some silver lining in all of this. It's all about thinking how can we get creative and still put on experiences, especially being Las Vegas. That's kind of everybody's job that we're all tasked with is people come here from all over the world expecting a great experience, and also with the idea of things being limited, whether it's shows, attractions, people are still coming, and can we reinvent ourselves like we always do and create something new? Now would be the time. And so we've actually taken that as an opportunity, even though it's a sad time for all of us. We see it as an opportunity, getting out there, letting people know that this is something that you can do. Vegas is open, and this is something that you can book for your clients, whether you're a travel agent, whether you're a concierge. So we're staying busy, getting the word out on these self-guided tours, and we're still hosting the guided tours as well. We have those every day. They're just not like it was.
That's fantastic. How are your customers responding to the changes with COVID here in Las Vegas?
Well, on the guided tours, we created a new option when you go to book, if you'd like to enhance it to a private tour for an additional charge. And we haven't seen a huge influx in people booking the private tours. A lot of times when they're calling in, they're asking what are the safety, protocols, and what are we doing? Are masks required? Are we socially distant? And we'll explain that, we do have the opportunity to book a private tour, but it is a social experience, and they're surprisingly they're all okay with it. I don't know if it's the traveler that's coming now, but they maybe they've been held up in quarantine and they want to socialize. That's part of the experience. And so the response is actually people want to get together more than I imagined. And we've actually turned on a lot of our previous customers to some of our self-guided tours, and they love the guide. So I don't see it as something. It's two different operations.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it's fantastic. I have a question about sorry, food industry. How are you doing with the changes restaurants have implemented, and how are the restaurants moving forward, providing obviously self-guided tours or just dining for your patrons?
So obviously we have to stay within guidelines, even if some partners are willing to maybe sometimes fit an extra seat at the table. We can't do that because there's people that are looking, people that are watching, taking photos. So you have to stay within guidelines because it's just the right thing to do. And so 6 per table. So whenever we have tours of greater than 6, we'll break them out onto separate tables that are 6 feet apart. Masks are required, as everybody knows, except for when you're dining. So that's something that as long as we let the guests know in advance what to expect, they're going to understand. Whether it's, for the helicopter tour, if they're not getting served champagne at the terminal, we let them know that up front. If they're going to be required to wear a mask, even when they get up to use the restroom, our tour guides will let them know that up front. So there's no, awkwardness or, stuff that's not, unexpected. So just letting them know, giving them the opportunity to book a private tour during the checkout process kind of alleviates, that opportunity. So just being clear and upfront. I think people understand that, we're in a different situation. Things might change, whether it's a restaurant that wasn't on the tour, maybe they were closed that day, or we used to have menus presented at each restaurant. Now it's no more printed menus. So, at least we're able to put on an experience and do it the best as we can. I still wouldn't feel comfortable putting something out there that wouldn't be a 5-star experience. So we have limited our offerings as well.
That's fantastic. We have a question from one of our members. What plans do you have for your groups in international market?
So international, that's the one that's, going to be long, it's going to take some time on that. So we've shifted gears. We are obviously California and Arizona. We're talking with travel agents because we're trying to basically, a lot of those travel agents that were booking cruises for their clients, well, now cruises aren't taking place. So let's switch to booking domestic travel. People aren't traveling out of the country for weddings, so they're more than likely still going to get married, and they're going to get married here in the United States. And what a great place in Las Vegas. Concierge, they're constantly asked, well, what is open? So, we're educating them on letting them know that, this is something that the guests can do, either guided or socially distant. And as far as the international, that's kind of on hold until the foreseeable future. Same with the groups, even though we are still getting some RFPs, even outside of Las Vegas. So, kind of just taking it day by day and focusing on what the low-hanging fruit. And that also includes, locals as well, because they're looking to get out and, support some small restaurants. And so being able to curate an experience that supports 3 businesses is something that I think the locals could buy into and still have a good time safely and at an approachable price point, which you mentioned the Licking Foodie Tours was launched in 2019. That was before COVID. So the idea behind that was to have a product, just like, there's the Wynn Hotel and then there's, Motel 6. So there's different customer base. And so now we come in at a time when price point is a factor. The room rates are low. People are expecting a deal from everywhere. And so we wanted to come out with a food tour that was kind of your more typical food tour, where it's not so, high end, where you're getting, 3 dishes at each restaurant, the chef's coming out, the helicopter at the end. So what we've done is we've come up with a product that's priced in at $79 per person, which is great at a time like this when people are a little more conscious on their budget. And we've actually started partnering up. It's allowed us the opportunity to partner with different companies that we haven't been able to partner with the Lip Smacking brand. So if you go on our finger licking website, you'll see an enhancements page. We still offer the helicopter, but now we've partnered with Ma Museum. So when you're downtown, you could go check out the Ma Museum. You could incorporate a limousine ride down the strip with from some photo ops at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. And outdoors is a big thing, especially here in Nevada. And I think we're getting a lot of people that are going to want to discover the outdoors. So we've actually partnered with a company. It's called Take a Hike, and our tour is called Bites and Hikes. So you get a private tour guide, you and a couple of people, and you don't have to do it on the same day as your food tour, but it's a package deal. So just allowing, just thinking outside of the box with new opportunities.
That sounds fantastic. What marketing strategies have been helpful to you during this pandemic?
So we have switched our marketing up. So now we're targeting ads in, California and Arizona. So we've shifted from, kind of the meeting planners to more of the travel advisors. We're running a lot of radio spots here locally. We've been on some of the news stations. And just getting out there and, thinking about the domestic traveler and the locals, because, for us, we've been fortunate. Every tour that we host, you'll usually find a repeat guest, and they don't even live here. So, I see that as an opportunity. If we could turn our backyard into believers, we could have a regular base of local business as well.
Great. I have another question from a member. You had great foresight for 2020 and with COVID, and it just kind of fell into place with your finger licking foodie tours. So what are your plans for 2021? And how do you see the changes in our industry?
I mean, my heart, is to expand this company, outside of Las Vegas, and there's so much potential with it, and we were on that road, so I'm eager to get back to it. Luckily, my staff are good. They're keeping busy. Matter of fact, a couple of them are out there right now, like literally just going around and giving out brochures and trying to, just get the word out. And, so just kind of, every day just working at it and hopefully getting back to, where we were and then some. And then as far as our industry goes, it's going to be a little bit of a choppy, and a long ride, but we've gone through it before and we're going to go through it again, and we're going to come out on the other side. It's just, we were in such a great place for Las Vegas, especially what it looked like 2020 was holding for Las Vegas. It was exciting, and it is what it is. It's a global deal. So, I can't, say anything other than, we are strong, and, it's all in our hearts, and we'll get through it. It's just going to be a bit of a journey.
So not knowing the unknown, do you kind of see more changes for 2020 in the food industry or in the tourism industry?
Well, I do see a lot of people asking, like, what are the new protocols? We want our clients to feel safe. What are you doing to ensure that? And, now people have that expectation of, temperature scanners and all these things that they've been seeing that now they've come to expect. If you're not wearing your mask, that's a, red flag. So, just adjusting to that. But I think it's also important that we keep in mind not to forget the experience, because, it's how they feel at the end of this. And we have to, stay safe, but still think about, reinventing it where it's a great experience. So, yeah.
That's great. Another question. what recommendation, or this is, I mean, you've been doing so well and we're just kind of following you and seeing your business strategies. What kind of recommendations or words of wisdom could you share for some of our other members that are not yet finding their footprint in this, epidemic and adaptation and all that stuff with tourism and travel?
I could just speak from where my place, and it's interesting that this whole self-guided tour that's doing really well came at the same way my lip smacking came, and that was at a time of just being a little bit scared and uncertain and uncomfortable and all those things that we're going through, and taking the time to turn off the TV and actually just think and write down and consider your passions and think outside of the box. And this literally came with a conversation going back and forth with myself and my tour guides. What are we going to do to come out of this? And that's really how it came about, is that dialogue and the brainstorming. And my best advice is, we have to think, and we're Las Vegas, we could do it, and we will do it. So we just have to spend some time thinking about that.
No, absolutely. So, based on all your companies now that you have started, what's your outlook for the future for your companies moving forward?
I want to continue to grow the brand. It has grown and people are recognizing it, but it's still, it's not something that everybody knows about. So, I want to keep doing that and keep getting, great reviews, and making a name for ourselves, and, we're expanding more tours. We just launched Chinatown, which is something I've always wanted to offer, but it never really made sense because you would need a vehicle to get, from the first to the second restaurant. And, if you don't have enough signups, it's a cost factor. And I don't know if everyone's aware, but, again, thinking outside of the box, Uber Business, now we arrange a transfer from the first to the second restaurant. It's a 4-minute drive. It's prepaid, prearranged. As soon as they're done eating at the first restaurant, they'll receive a text saying that their car is outside. So just, we have that technology now, and, I want to do the same. I want to open up more of these self-guided experiences throughout Las Vegas, whether it's Green Valley Ranch, downtown Summerlin, who knows, maybe even outside of Vegas. I think it's a great way to dine. It has a lot of potential. It's able to attract a clientele that maybe isn't your typical tour taker. I personally, believe it or not, my business is tours, but I'm more of a free spirit. I like to kind of be with my friends and family and do our thing. And this is a great way to do that. You bounce around, you pick your time slot. So it really kind of reaches a different customer that maybe a millennial, or somebody that doesn't want to group in with others.
What are some of the restaurants on your Chinatown tour that you just started?
So every time I start a new tour, I really kind of soak in the neighborhood and the understanding of each restaurant. And, it's like falling for a whole new thing. And I'm doing that now. So Chinatown is not all Asian. It's where the chefs from the Strip, when they open up a restaurant, it's close to the Strip. So a lot of times people take, a ride share to get down there. And so one of them is Spanish tapas. I used to work with the owner. He was one of the first restaurants that we visited, Bardot. Now he's opened up his own restaurant, and it's a great partnership there. It's fun to be able to rekindle that relationship. And then the second one is Lamai, which I don't know if anyone's been, but it's been open about a year and a half. It's fantastic Thai. It's modern. The owner used to work over at Lotus and Siam. He had chata. So it's a really in the know place. And then next to it is Sparrow and Wolf, which is very multicultural. Basically, it's modern American, but influences from the neighborhood of Chinatown. So you'll find everything from Asian ingredients and Arabic influences. So it's a really interesting restaurant, and it's a great thing to be able to showcase all these off the strip gems, because they love what they're doing. And if you know about it, great. But most people don't know about these restaurants. And so if I could just be the messenger and help not only our restaurant partners, but be a voice of tourism and the neighborhood, I take a lot of pride in that. It's not all about sales. It's also about having an impact. And I take pride in that.
That's great. What do you recommend for the small tourism businesses that are listening to you today?
I mean, it's kind of a good thing to be small. Like you don't have a ton of overhead, hopefully, like a call center or huge rent. So there's an upside to that. And just push. That's all. I mean, I don't have a family. I don't have a wife or kids. I look forward to all of that. So I mean, this is my focus. It has been for the past few years. A little bit of a setback, but push, think, so if I am scrolling on Facebook, I'm looking at not just the content, but I'm looking at thinking of new ideas. Who haven't I reached out to? I'm going on TripAdvisor. Who's got the best reviews that may be a good partnership? We could send each other business. It's not a conflict of interest. Reaching out to radio stations in California. They're all looking for content on what Las Vegas has going on. Going on some of the blogs and just being out there. That's huge. That's what I've done. Since I started. That's how I started. From really I had no advertising budget, and just showing up. And then the more you put in, the more you get out. And luckily, I'm able to see. Every time I do something, I see how it shows up, down the road. It's interesting.
Do you find in your tours, as they're developed, like you have Chinatown, downtown, and Las Vegas Strip, that you might alternate and partner with other restaurants as well, or do you stick closely to the ones that you've already built this relationship with?
Well, we try to visit the best restaurants, obviously, and then we have the exclusivities so that if another tour operator wants to put a tour out, it wouldn't be with our partners. And then whenever, some new restaurants do come online, it's kind of difficult to swap one out because you've developed such a relationship and they do such a great job. So my goal is to develop new tours rather than replace a restaurant unless, it does happen every once in a while, but the idea more or less is develop new tours because we get a ton of repeat guests, and it's neat to see that, we've built the brand to almost being like, when Cirque du Soleil puts out a new show, you don't really need to know the storyline. You don't really need to know much about it. It's a Cirque show. It's going to be good. So we're taking people into the arts district. We're taking prior guests into Chinatown, and they're doing that because they're trusting our brand that it's going to be, the 5-star experience that they've had on their previous tours. So now we're leading by just putting our kind of our stamp on it, which is neat because we've built that customer base, and it allows us to try new things.
That's fantastic. Well, is there anything you'd like to add to this? Maybe, again, some encouragement for our members looking up or listening to you guys right now before we wrap this up?
Yeah, if anybody, I have a lot of friends on this call. It's a quiet time, at least on my end for a lot of times. Pick up the phone. I'd love to chat, maybe think of ideas. It helps me, being a sole owner. I don't really have many people to bounce ideas off of. I have a mentor, I have a couple of close friends, but it's always good to bounce ideas and share. And, hopefully I've shed some light on some ideas here that inspire and maybe haven't thought of or you've thought of. And this kind of just solidifies it a little more, gives you that confidence to take a step. But I'm always available, and I sincerely appreciate everybody's support. I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at without the community, with the restaurant partners. It's a whole deal, and I want to thank everybody. You guys have been awesome. I came from working in restaurants to tourism, and they kind of keep you. You just don't know about those things, like director of sales. You don't know what that is. You don't know what tour operator is and a DMO, and it's just been awesome. And I look forward to a whole lifetime of this. So we'll do it. I just can't wait till we're all together.
That's fantastic. Us too. I mean, I love these Zoom meetings, but I'd rather like to hug and shake hands. But thank you again, Donald, and we appreciate you being our first guest on this web series, and we wish you continued success with your businesses. We're actually cutting into time, so I just want to let everyone know we're going to send links for all the Vegas Chamber updates on small businesses and the legislation they're doing with our Congress to help support our small businesses here in Southern Nevada. We're also going to be sending link updates for the Nevada healthcare updates as well. You'll find that on our website, and we'll also post them here in the chat, or we can send them to all you guys. Again, thank you guys for all your participation, and we look forward to our next web series, September 1st.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. We appreciate you. Thank you, Donald.
Thank you, guys.